All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today? Oh, wait, can I hear Norm? That is on my end.
No, it's on mine. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
All right, there you go, Norm.
You
Good morning.
there?
Yep, now I hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All right, guys. Norm, glad to have you back. I know you've been traveling, trying to catch up the last couple of days. So good to have you back in the pre-market show this morning. Um, all right, guys. Let's take a look here of yesterday's top place and highlights. We have CLVS, Workday, and other few ones here that actually traded okay, but we're starting to see some of that choppiness in a lot of the stocks yesterday. So let's My voice sounds distorted a bit.
I don't know. You sound great to me. You sound clear.
Yeah, double check, guys. Yeah, if you hear choppy
If
audio, restart, refresh.
yeah, you guys need to refresh.
All right, excellent. And if it still keeps choppy, what I'll do is I'll restart on my end. But just try it on your end first. If we still get some choppiness, let me know. And how about on YouTube, guys? How do you guys hear me? Hopefully, you can hear me okay as well. All right. So with that said, guys, let's go over our top plays and highlights from yesterday. What I was saying is a lot of the stocks that we had on watch, you can start to see some of that choppiness happening on a lot of the opening stocks that we have. So let's look at CLVS here, guys. So let's just back up our 5 minute and let's get over to the open yesterday. Here we go, 5 minutes, right over here. Here it is. So here's CLVS. We'll look at actually our 5 down here. 1 second, and then we'll look at our 1 minute so you can kind of see the little tight action was happening yesterday. So CLVS, guys, again, pre-market was decent, was okay. Look at the pop yesterday. Pops up, and then just a huge drop, huge rejection of a level we had on the pre-market. This actually became could have been a good candidate for a rising devil. The only issue is that the pre-market was not setting up as one. So as it was dropping down, I like to see a bigger drop on the rising devil, kind of drop a little more, and then the pop, and then the drop down. But then this one was possibly a good candidate for that. Just the pre-market was not setting up as great, but it had a great rejection of the pre-market highs. From there, you can see this thing dropping beautifully all the way past the VWAP, all the way down here towards this level. But then from there, guys, it just gets really nasty. There's nothing clean about it after this one drop. You have to be quick to be able to catch this one for Rising Devil and kind of be working on it. From there, you can see that it just becomes just almost untradeable, guys. Really, this up and down, every candle engulfing the previous candle. So this is some of the choppiness that we're going to see in a lot of the stocks that we had. Later on in the day, kind of does settle down, comes back above the VWAP, and you can see kind of another pop here. But again, no continuation, right? So that's a little tough trade to take there as well. On workday, we also had again a nice drop here. Pre-market activity was not looking all that great, and then it's just pure chop, guys. We had a nice little chop here. Again, just every candle overlapping the previous candle, so nothing clean about workday right off the top of the open. Later on, we get a little reversal here, kind of a nasty double bottom. I don't like the way it looks. In fact, I don't want to even call it a double bottom because it's not even that clean. We kind of get a reversal back to view, but then again, guys, that open's just not as clean as we like to see. ARWR also, guys, another one that again, just yesterday you see a lot of these stocks that just did not trade very well. So ARWR had a great pre-market activity, but then at the open also kind of overlapping each other one, and just not clean, guys, just not clean. PCG was actually nice. PCG was very, very nice. We took this for opening range break up on the 5. Again, as you see the power getting above the pre-market highs here with a lot of volume, and then it just took off nicely. So this one actually surprised us, traded very nice into the open. Then got a little top. You had this huge rejection coming right back down. Then another drop, and then out of nowhere, we're in the chat room, and this thing just starts taking off again. So PCG was nice at the open. VRAY also another one that you had a 5-minute open range breakdown on this one. So if you was looking for this, you could take an advantage. I didn't like the way the pre-market was actually trading on here. So again, I missed this one, but again, looking at it now, it was a nice opening range breakdown here, nice pullback, and a nice beautiful drop here. Didn't get great continuation. It came down towards this level at the pre-market, and then from there, just bounced back towards VWAP. Next one was Roku. Roku was actually one of the most cleanest stock. We had PCG, Roku, and then Expedia. We're going to go over that one next. Were the three ones that really traded really clean. So Roku had a beautiful pop here, nice rejection. Again, this is not a rising level because you do not have the sell-off happening in the pre-market. You kind of need that to happen. The pop, that's what you want to get in for short, and then the drop, right? So this kind of was just a rejection heading right back down towards the levels of the pre-market highs. From there, you kind of get another try at it, cannot establish a new high here, and then it just completely drops down, becoming a beautiful short towards these levels over here. So then that traded nicely. And then you had a nice bounce here, right? You got an engulfing happening on the 5. You had a kind of like an A, B, C, D pattern forming here towards the VWAP, and that turned out to be actually a great long trade heading back all the way to the highs of the day. So nice trade there on Roku. Expedia was also very nice, guys. It started taking off around 9 o'clock with some news that it popped in the pre-market. From there, it took off very nicely into the highs, came right back down, testing these moving averages. A lot of you guys took a scalp here for a short, and I saw a lot of you guys get back in here for a long and take this all the way up towards the high of the day and then even higher. So then, again, this was a good trade here, even pre-market. If you were able to time this, would have been nice also. You can see a nice, beautiful pattern if you include the pre-market as well. But then from there, it just becomes real choppy and really nothing else takes place on Expedia. KOD, we had on our list, didn't have a great pre-market open, but then market open didn't have a great one. But from there, it just finds this beautiful trend trade, right? It pops up, sells back down towards the VWAP, finds a base, it holds, and then from there, it just grabs onto the 9 moving average, and it just takes off. So KOD traded very nice. But again, you have to be patient to get through this and see the trend actually establishing on KOD. Here's PTG, guys. PTG was also one that was just insane yesterday. I believe this was the one that got halted. Yeah. So on the way up here, it got halted. Right in here, we had the halt. Again, this was just on fire, just took off. Volume started coming in nicely, just popped up. Then you had this huge sell down here and then kind of consolidated for a couple of hours before you actually try to test the high of the day one more time. So again, just careful with these kind of stocks. If you miss it, you don't want to be chasing, right? You don't want to be caught in an area where you get caught on the pullback. Usually when these things get halted, they tend to drop down. This one actually kept going up a little more before it just gave it all back. And the drop down was not even that brutal. We've seen it worse where, you can have a huge drop down right after the halt. So, again, this one turned out to be a pretty nice opening range here if you were looking at it. And it popped up pretty nice all the way up to $8. So that is what we had yesterday. Norm, what's going on with the SPY today? Anything interesting for this Thursday as we start wrapping this week?
There's some decent economic data coming out today. We just had weekly jobless claims that came in. I believe it was 203 versus a 215 estimate. Hadn't really done a whole lot to the markets. Couple other things come in later with factory orders, and then one of the Fed members will be testifying in front of Congress today. Not a whole lot of craziness there. We're up 0.2%. Everybody thought the sky was falling on it. It's pretty funny. We've obviously had this trade stuff going on for a while, but SPY, if you go back a few days, everybody thought the sky was falling at the beginning of the week, and now everybody's back to the same old bull market sentiment that we've had. So it's been an interesting few days, that's for sure.
Yeah. I had a lot of people think the same thing as well. But again, this market is just very strong, guys. Look at it bouncing back here. So we'll see what it does today. Today's going to be an interesting day to see if we're going to hold, start heading towards that 315 area, or are we going to just consolidate sideways. But again, if you look at what has been happening over the last couple of months, 2 or so, it has been extremely strong here, kind of taking off real nice. So that was just a regular pullback there, guys, on some tweets and stuff that happened, but the market's back to doing its thing here. All right, folks, let's get to it. Our gappers list, then we'll go over NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. If you're still hearing me choppy in the chat room, just make sure you reload the page. It'll fix the issue. So not sure what's causing that this morning in our our webpage, in our chat room. So let's go over to the first one, AUPH. So AUPH this morning, we are up 100%. Had to think twice looking at that number. We're up 100% here on AUPH. This one has 1.7 million shares traded at the moment. Again, trying to see the pre-market activity starts. Yeah, right over here is the pre-market activity. So, again, it's got a decent pre-market activity. It has a nice range going from 16.39 all the way up to 20 so far. Excuse me, so far, dropping down a bit at this moment. Just kind of giving some back. So this has a huge pop this morning. Norm, what's causing some of this?
Yeah, so they had positive phase, excuse me, positive phase 3 results on a drug to treat lupus that they released info on this morning. It's interesting. A lot of times these biotechs trade like low floats, and this one isn't. I mean, it's a 65 million share float per Finviz, 50 million per Trade Ideas. It's got a 15% short interest, so a little bit high there, nothing astronomical, but interesting moves this morning for sure.
All right, so we'll definitely keep this one on our list. Again, huge pop here this morning, guys. We do have shares for sure, so that's nice. We'll see how this one develops into the open here. Next, we have ACAD. So ACAD at the moment, it is also gapping up nicely, 20% on ACAD. And this one is volume 398,000, so it's great volume. Decent pre-market activity, guys. Here we can see a nice little flow going. Not as active as AUPH, obviously, but again, still has a great pre-market. Also, I do like the pop here. We're leaving some of the area of resistance that we have been struggling with for a period of time here. That's too much. Right over here on 48 looks like. So we've been trying to break that for a while. Today we actually broke out of that pretty nice here on this gap up. What's the news on ACAD, Norm, this morning?
They had positive results on a phase 3 Alzheimer's drug.
All right, excellent. All right, some good news for them, and they're seeing obviously the result on that. The market reacting nicely to that information. So ACAD looks good. SIG. Now this one I remember from the past doesn't trade very well. Yeah, it doesn't trade very well because we looked at it before. You can see here the choppiness on the daily chart. It's kind of been consolidating after getting back from this base down here, just kind of chopping around in this area. And today they're up 7.3, 125,000 shares traded. But look at the pre-market action. Doesn't look all that great. A little bit choppy. And this daily chart, again, it's just not all that great, especially the last couple of days. Just been really choppy here. So you're seeing a lot of gaps up and down. I'm not sure how the intraday looks on this one, but from past experience, it's one that doesn't trade all that clean. Norm, anything significant causing this pop of 7.8 on SIG?
Yeah, they had earnings this morning, and they had a smaller loss than expected, and their revenues came in greater than expected.
All right, so we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. But again, guys, we really gotta see how this is going to trade at the open because again, from experience, that one could be a little bit choppy. So PCG is making some noise again. Here we are. What are we doing today? We're up 6.2, 450,000 shares traded. I forgot the news Peter mentioned yesterday, but they had some news come out. I think they were kind of settling some stuff, right, Norm?
Yeah, they're making it. I think it's a $13.5 billion settlement to the fire victims for one of the fires that they started in the last couple of years.
Gotcha. So again, some positive news. We got some reaction to this now. I mean, this thing went as low as $3. 350 here. Found a way to crawl out of here. Now you got some positive news that yesterday we took advantage of. A nice trade here. Traded very well at the open. I'm sorry, this was yesterday, and today we're up here, so it could be a nice continuation. Pre-market activity not as active as it was yesterday. Yesterday had a great clean pre-market activity, but again, this is not saying this is bad. Just comparing it to yesterday's pre-market, we got some good volume, and we also were sitting right at an area of support on the daily. See this area right here, nice support that we have going on. If we can get above that and continue to head towards the high of yesterday, could be nice for a squeeze, hopefully into this 12 area. So again, I like PCG right now. It's one of those stocks you still want to be very cautious with. It is a stock still that has been beaten up pretty bad and still hanging around a lot of bad news. So again, you don't want to be loading the boat on something like this. And also, if you look at yesterday, just one more thing to show you why you want to be careful when you're loading the boat on this one. Look at this drop we had out of nowhere. Right, I mean, you have it. This is a regular pullback here. We get this question a lot. What's a regular pullback and what's not? This right here is a regular pullback. You got a nice, decent sized candle, pulls back, holds. That's a pullback. This right here is not a pullback, right? So you don't want to be holding this, expecting it's going to bounce back after this massive drop here. It's a big drop on a on a 5-minute candle here, basically giving everything back here, and then you can see it just consolidates. So again, it can drop pretty fast on you, and it did that yesterday on this candle here. We actually were watching that live. I think Peter almost took a trade short here, but again, it's just did not give anyone any chance to take that trade. Kind of happened pretty fast. Let's look at work today. So work. Let's look at our pre-market on the 5. All right, so work again didn't. Oh no, this I'm not. Let me not confuse this with work with W day. That's different. That was the one that was choppy yesterday. This one here this morning, 582, up 3.1 at the moment. Pre-market's actually looking okay. The daily looks interesting. Again, you got a little bit of chop going on here, but what I see is you're kind of just winding down towards this point here. So the daily looks interesting for a possible pop, because you do got some area of support here, and you kind of been making higher lows on the way up here. You kind of got the flat top going, right? So it looks interesting to get above this 2320 area high of the pre-market. Yeah, so you have a lot of room to run if you can get above this. So again, not sure what's causing this pop today, Norm. Do they have any significant news catalysts that can help this this technical move?
Yeah, they actually reported earnings last night, Carlos. They beat their forecast. People have been concerned about Microsoft software impacting their being competitive to them. So I really like this one on the daily. It's breaking out from this descending wedge.
Yep.
And it's broken the upper trend line on it just recently. And so this might give it a little bit of a catalyst to start this pop. You know, this is a fairly recent IPO'd, I believe, in June. And it's just been weighted down, I think, especially. I mean, not that they haven't had any individual issues, but all these IPOs this year, especially the big name ones, have just been hammered.
Yeah, you can definitely see this one has been taking a nice hit here. Finally, looks like it's time to get a base. So hopefully this can be one that can one catalyst or news that can actually take it over the top here above 23. That would be nice to see. All right, next we have our ARDX. So ARDX here, what do we have going on? So ARDX up 1.9 this morning. So not anything significant. 295. We got some great volume. I don't like the pre-market action right now. It just seems a little bit choppy, even with all this volume. Just not seeing anything great on it. The daily also looks a little bit choppy in itself. You have this pop here. Kind of every day seems to kind of be overlapping the previous day. So you have a pop, drop, and then another nice pop, and then another nice drop. So again, just very choppy the last couple of days. It's been trending up nicely here into just kind of got above the $680 mark. Has been very choppy within this area. So I don't like the way this is trading here. I also am not too fond of this pre-market action. It just seems very choppy. We'll keep it on here, but again, I don't see anything great on ARDX at the moment. It just disappeared from my gappers list, or it's back again as it goes over the 2% dollar mark, 2% percentage there. Next we have RCEL. RCL is just down slightly, 4.2. What do we have here in regards to our daily and pre-market? So pre-market starts right here, guys. 212.5. So pre-market is pretty flat. We actually just have one huge block trade here, 257. Sitting in the pre-market actions. This doesn't look great at all. I definitely do not like the daily chart neither. This looks very nasty on the daily. What's the float on this? 67 million. So it's not a low flow stock, but it's just trading very nasty. So I'm gonna, off the top right here, I'm gonna just skip this one and move on to the next one. So we have EAF. All right, so EAF this morning is down down 4.7 this morning. 209,000 shares traded so far. But look at this pre-market activity, guys. This is a really bad pre-market activity. And you also have a nasty daily chart as well. I do like the drop here, leaving this area of support. Previous day close seems to has been an area of nice support here during this choppiness. Right, you can see the days are bouncing off of that. So the drop is great, finding support in an area where we have previous support right on here, resistance. So I like that part about the daily. But again, just this pre-market is not looking interesting at all on EAF. So let's hold on to it, because again, I like the way the daily here, the drop is holding on to these levels. If it can drop from there, it could be nice to head up towards the bottom. But again, don't like the way this pre-market is forming. This will definitely not make our final list if it doesn't get just slightly better. OMER this morning we have this is nasty, guys. It's bad pre-market activity. 107 1,000 shares traded. We are dropping 11.4, which is nice. Daily chart's a little funky. We can see a lot of chop here. Broke out and now it's gapped up yesterday. Right now we're gapping down way below the area of consolidation that we had. So again, just not liking the way this is trading here. Just for the heck of it, let's see how I traded yesterday. So yesterday was okay. Yeah, not all that great really. You have a nice pop here, but then from there it just becomes garbage. So not sure about this one, guys. We might just remove that one pretty soon. ESTC. ESTC here. Wow, nice big drop on ESTC. This is good. What do we have going on here? So we had a beautiful drop here, down 15.6. Volume is not great, 103 at the moment. So hopefully that can get going. Pre-market activity, it's not all that great. Seems a little bit choppy, but this type of drop, you do want to watch this. Hopefully it can get a little better, can get some volume going. But I like the way this is. This has this nice little drop here. You also are just blew right by this most recent level of support you have on here. So this drop, I like the way this is going. Norm, this is a big drop here. ESTC. Any significant news on why they're dropping 15.6 this morning?
They had earnings after the close yesterday. I have not really gotten into this one. It's not something I would generally trade. But they obviously negative on their earnings. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. So again, this was one that's not looking nice at all, guys. With this nice, well, not looking nice, but again, not good for them with this big drop here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. Hopefully the volume can get going. We can see a better pre-market activity. That would be nice on this one. SAGE. So SAGE, what do we have going on here? SAGE, wow, down 63%, basically down 94 bucks. Oh man. So this one has traded 1.2 million shares so far. Pre-market activity is very active at the moment. Again, this is a huge drop. Norm, who messed up today? Who caused this fire?
Who messed up today? I like how you put that one. Yeah, so they had a depression drug that failed in a trial and has just hammered this thing today. They were actually talking about it on CNBC a little while ago as well.
All right, so again, this will be good to watch, guys. Again, in the daily, on a regular daily, let's just take this drop out of the way. Doesn't trade very clean. You can see here it's very, very choppy. So not the most cleanest stock, but on a day like today, we have some news like this. We have a drop like this. It is worth watching a stock that is doing this huge drop because you can get some good moves out of this one today. All right, let's just, that's the last one that we have on our list. Let's go through and make sure I didn't miss anything or anything else didn't pop up. AKER is on here. AKER, see what's going on there. Just started going here. Got some volume coming in around 845, 850 looks like. We do have a pop, but again, not anything that I like right now. It also looks very choppy, so we'll just skip this one for the moment. All right, folks. Norm, what do you like today on your end?
I'm gonna have my eye on Facebook today. They've been on a nice run the last couple of months. They had a decent pullback, and then they got an upgraded price target by an analyst today. So it should be interesting. I think we've got enough on our list here that to narrow things down. I won't be adding a whole lot more. And I'm also gonna keep my eye on EXPE for continuation from yesterday to see if it does anything. It's not super encouraging considering the action after that nice run. But since on the daily they're holding the 20 moving average, I do like this setup. It came down, tested that yesterday, and then just bounced nicely and got right above it. So if this one decides it wants to run, it potentially has a ton of overhead room to move.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that'll be a good one as well. All right, guys, what do you guys like on your end, guys? What do you guys see in both chats this morning? It looks great. RH, this is one that trades a little bit funky, guys. We've seen it before. Again, for me personally, I do not like to trade this one. It can move very wild, and also it can be very choppy. So just be cautious with RH. So they had earnings, low volume right now. Thank you, Hector. But again, it's one of those stocks. If you look at the daily chart, again, it can trade very, very choppy. So just be very cautious with it. But if they had earnings, could be one that's in play today. The daily chart overall has been on a tear here. This is probably all-time high, I believe. And what is the float on this one? This is 16 million shares float, right? So this is a low float.
Yeah, so this you got it. This is a low float with a high price. It can move a ton, and I think it's got pretty high short interest, 36.5% short interest. Recently, Warren Buffett announced that Berkshire had taken a position in RH.
Mm-hmm.
So it's caused this recent pop here. I think that's what the pop around mid-November was when that news came out.
Okay. Yep.
So I may or may not have that same short float that it did, but nevertheless, it's and yeah, I mean your TI even says 83% short float. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't think that's accurate, but my guess is a lot of that, some of that's burned off at least. It should be interesting.
Yep, yep, it definitely will. So we're gonna keep it on here, guys. Again, this is a short flow stock. Do not be fooled by the price. So we'll have to be very cautious on this one here. And we've seen it trade very wild, guys. This thing can move very, very fast. All right, what else we have, guys? What else you guys like? Let's look over at AMD. So Jay's giving us AMD here. See what that's doing. We'll look at Roku next. AMD's daily looks great, man. Love this pop here. We're kind of getting back towards these levels. If we can break out of this area, can be a nice for 4160. We can definitely look at this one here. We can make a little room for AMD. We'll take a look at it as we get closer to the open. What else we have? What else we like? Roku. Let's look at Roku. Roku this morning also looking great. Actually, Roku looks very nice. Nice pre-market activity. We got some continuation hopefully happening today on this one. We got an area we can get to the bottom of this gap down at 160. I do like Roku. We're gonna go through. I know the list is big. We're gonna go through this again. A lot of them don't look great in here. We're gonna remove before we start doing some levels. But Roku is nice. Got some good volume, good pre-market activity. And what I love about Roku, every time it does this drop, it finds a way to climb out of it. Another drop here again, obviously caused by the SPY. Came back out of it again. But we do have an area here that we would love to get to. We got a little bit of room before we see any significant resistance, which would be around 160. So that's great to see on Roku. All the moving averages on the daily are below. So that's great. A great support there as well. Next we have KR, DG and KR. So DG is nice. Needs a little more volume right now. A little bit choppy on the 5-minute on the pre-market. Let's look at what else we have here. KR and MIK. So KR, Kroger. Actually, Kroger, I like Kroger. When it's in play, it does trade very well. Aside from that, it can be very, very, very choppy. Right now, I'm not sure if there's any news on Kroger today. It does got some volume. It has a nice drop. If it can leave some of these areas, will be nice. But at the moment, just not seeing anything all that great on KR. MIK this morning. This one is interesting. Has a nice big drop here. 11.4, 176. Pre-market, though, hasn't been great since the drop, right? So we had the drop, I believe, yesterday. Pre-market has been a little bit light, very choppy at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on it. If it gets better, let me know, guys. But at the moment, it's not looking all that great on MIK. We'll do some more. It's just two more. Nike. Didn't notice how time is just running up today. So here we have Nike, guys. I love the pop-up Nike 2.3 this morning. Doesn't have great volume, which is normal for Nike. Tends to be on the lighter side in the volume of the pre-market. It's a nicey stock, but when it's not in play, it can be extremely choppy, guys. So I'm not sure what's the news today on Nike, what's causing this pop, but the volume is not there to kind of tell us, how significant this move is today. So we can keep an eye on it. Maybe put it on here, see if it gets better, just in case. And see if any volume comes in. But again, just Nike overall not looking all that great this morning.
Nike got a upgrade out of Goldman Sachs to buy from neutral.
Oh, okay, there we go. So they got an upgrade. So we'll see how that reacts this morning over on the Nike. All right, what else we have, guys? All right, so we'll come back. We have a lot today already. Etsy we have, I believe, right? No, we don't. We do not have Etsy. We have a lot today, so I'm going to go over to announcements. Don't walk you through that. I am going to restart the chat room in the meantime, just in case anyone still hears me chat. We can get that fixed. So Etsy this morning, nice drop, 3.7, volume 128,000 at the moment. I like the area of support that we're bouncing off of right here, so that could be interesting. But aside from that, pre-market needs to get just a little bit better here on Etsy. So we'll put it here next to Nike. If depending on how we go through this list and get rid of some, we can throw Etsy back up there and see what's going on there. All right, guys. Norm, take it away on announcements.
You got it. I guess Carlos is going to leave me all alone and not throw up the slide. Give me just a second, guys.
Oh yeah, I checked. I didn't see the slide.
It's the same. It's the most recent one. I think it's from the 3rd, but that's fine. So we still got the new scanner contest going on, guys. If you build a TI scanner, put it in the forum post and describe it. You can win an iPad or an iPhone. Community will vote on the best one, and then we'll also.
All right, guys. If you're on YouTube, that got cut off in the meantime, so you won't be able to hear Norman until I bring the chat room back up. Just checking to see if we could fix some of the choppiness that we're getting in the chat room. So I see a lot of you guys asking about CMEG. So CMEG is actually very great broker. So if you need an offshore broker and you're looking to trade under 25K and you're a resident of the US resident, you need to trade with an offshore broker that allows you to bypass the PTD rule, and that is what CMEG is able to do. That's Capital Market Elites Group.
You hit the subscribe and the notification bell, subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be notified whenever we go live with new content. The Black Friday and Cyber Monday discount code is still active. So if you're looking to either become a member or upgrade your membership, you can use the promo code Black Friday 19. No spaces or anything. Black Friday 19, and that will get you 40% off the one-time payment lifetime plan. That's all I got, buddy. I guess Carlos is still going. Let's see here.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Norm.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. What are you looking at? Anything that we haven't discussed?
All right. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Just, yeah, nothing that you haven't discussed. Five.
Carlos, you working on levels?
Yep, I'm gonna jump on that now. Just want to make sure. Hopefully, you guys can hear me a lot better this morning. Just restarted the room, so hopefully that did a little fix there. All right, guys, let's get through this list. So we have first we have quite a bit on here, so I'm gonna go through it first and just kind of fine tune this a little bit. Get rid of some that are not looking all that great. AUPH, we like tons of volume, up 104%. I mean, just crazy movements today on AUPH, so we'll definitely watch that. Beautiful gap here, some good news. ACAD, also like the gap up, also like the pre-market activity at the moment, so we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. 454, up 20%. This is nice. SIG, I'm going to get rid of, guys. The flat pre-market right now doesn't look all that great. It's only up, it's up 7.3, but I'm saying it's only up not by much because we're kind of still stuck within this range, right? It's not like a gap up like ACAD where you're gapping up nicely above some clear levels. It's not showing us anything like that, like a AUPH as well, and beautiful gap. Again, just SIG kind of stuck within these ranges. Now, if it gets above some of these levels and takes off, it can be a beautiful trade towards the top side, towards the bottom. I think you have a lot of congestion in here, a lot of levels, so I like it towards the top. If it can get going, a nice, beautiful squeeze. But for our purposes, we're just going to get rid of this one. PCG, guys, I'm gonna be excited for PCG today. They got some positive news that they've been trading very well off. So you can see here the nice little pop here, kind of getting above these levels. The last three days have been great. If they can get above this pre-market high, can also put in a beautiful squeeze, and you do have a little bit of room to get towards that 12-13 area. So I like PCG. We'll keep that one on here. Work. Again, work is the daily looks great on work. Might not be on our final list if it drops down further, because again, I like this one towards the top, not towards the bottom. So we'll keep an eye on it. ARDX, as much as I like what it's been doing lately, the last few days has been really choppy. Every candlestick overlapping the previous one. So with that said, I'm just going to get rid of that one today. So I'm not going to watch that one this morning. Let's get rid of this one. EAF, this one on here is I like the drop, guys. 4.7 volume is great. Yeah, we'll keep it on here for now. But the pre-market, guys, the pre-market's not looking all that great this morning, so that could be one that we might not watch this morning. OMER, OEMR. So OEMR, it's got an okay drop. Pre-market's not looking that great, guys. Again, it's down 11%, pretty choppy on the daily chart. We just can't watch everything. So we'll do levels for this one, but it might not be on my final list. ESTC, I like, beautiful drop, 15%, good volume. Sage, we'll definitely do some levels for this one. This is down 62%, 1.4 million shares traded with a great pre-market activity. So we've got a good pre-market activity building up for Sage this morning. AMD, I like the daily on. Roku, I also like the daily on and the pre-market. And RH is a low flow of the day, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Nike and SETC, I'm going to remove Nike for now, and I'll keep Etsy at the moment. All right, so let's do some levels, guys. So we have AUPH. Are we all-time high on AUPH? Let's just go back over here and double check that on AUPH. I believe someone mentioned we are. No, we are not all-time high on AUPH. We got some levels way back there. So AUPH high of the pre-market, but that is a 52-week high. So I'm going to just keep this one. I'm not going to go back and find levels above this one. Obviously, this looks like it wants to actually sell down and start closing this gap anyways. So our high of our pre-market 20.05. Our low is sitting at 16.37. So we'll mark that down. So nice big range here on AUPH. And really, if we're going back, you're not seeing any levels into all the way down here, 2018. Looks like the stock might have skipped some years here. Looks like from 13 to 15. Not sure what happened there. But again, you do have. I'm not sure what this is going back over here, guys. I'm not sure why you're getting that type of action on the daily chart. It really starts to get going really in this year. So I'm going to treat this as the 52-week high, the most powerful resistance right now. Got your low of the pre-market. Then from there, guys, you have a lot of room to go both ways. Right now, it's looking a little bit weak towards the downside on AUPH. ACAD, guys, this has a beautiful pop today. High of our pre-market sitting at a 54.61. Our low sitting at 48.84. 48.84, very close to this area of support that we have here, resistance that can now become support, so that's good. If we go over to our left, I think, is this all-time high? It looks like it is, guys. So I do have a low between the highs and lows that I want to mark down, and that is going to be this one here. So right between the highs and lows, you do have an area that seems to be the last high that we have, all-time high, around 52.12. So I'm going to mark that down. We can see some action happening around that area. So nothing towards the top. And below this pre-market low, you have plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, moving averages, previous day close. So again, a lot of action happening down here. PCG, guys, I think PCG will be interesting. It's been having a great couple of 3 days on here. They don't have a high short interest, so I don't expect a huge squeeze out of here. But they got some positive news out of all the darkness they've been having over the last couple of months, really almost a year. It's just been dropping nicely. You do have some momentum going today. So above the pre-market high from yesterday, the high from yesterday, you have 1233, which is an area of clear resistance here going back to this consolidation period. So if we can get going, we have some room to run. If we can get above the high from yesterday, we got some nice room here to get going. High of our pre-market is sitting at 1030. Whoops. Let's go back in there. I'm not sure what this is, but that 1985, I threw that on there. Looks like a level, but we're going to remove that. High of our pre-market, guys, is sitting at around 1040, so we'll mark that down. The low of the pre-market very close to the actually not that close to the previous day close, but 981. So we're kind of stuck within that range. If we can break out of that, will be nice with some good volume. So that is PCG. Work. What I like about work, I like it to break out towards the top. We're kind of selling down a little bit here. Let's go over some levels. Highs and lows right now between the price action up here and down here, previous day close. So I'm not going to really mark anything towards the bottom. Towards the top, you do have your high of your pre-market sitting at 23.14. And 23.14, look how great of a level that is. If we can break out of that, we have some nice room to run here. That's the move that we would like to see. But right now, pre-market is giving us other information, like it wants to sell back down, maybe go green to red here. So another level here, we have 2071. We'll do some levels here in 1967, just in case it drops down. What I do not like about work right now, because we have so many to watch, is that it can't just get stuck between this consolidation here and not do anything. On a bigger time frame, you can see how this thing has been kind of wedging into a point here, the descending wedge, and kind of can take off. But again, pre-market is looking a little bit weak at the moment. So we'll come back to that one. EAF, guys, pre-market is just looking horrible. It has great volume, nice drop. But again, just the pre-market is not looking great. So for the sake of watching as much as we can, that looks great. I'm going to remove this one this morning. OMER. This one also has a nice, beautiful drop. A horrible pre-market activity. We'll do some levels for it just in case. But again, just the pre-market activity is not looking great here neither. Low of the pre-market sitting at 13.23. Our high is slightly below 14 at 13.93. And then from there, you got just plenty of levels towards the top, right? Towards his highs and lows, and some moving averages up there as well. Below the 13.23, if we lose that level of that low of the pre-market, we do have a great area here at 12.65. So again, one that it's got some potential, but might not make our final list just because of how choppy this pre-market action looks this morning. ESTC pre-market action is looking a lot better than some of the ones we just looked at. But what makes this one so interesting today is this beautiful drop of 14.9 at the moment. High of the pre-market sitting at 68.07. Our low is sitting right around 65.87, so we'll mark that down. We have some levels towards the bottom here. Yes, we do. So just going back to this area here, we do have some levels we can mark down. Oh, this is the all-time low right down here. So all-time low sitting at 58.69, and we do have a slight area of support here during this choppiness at $63. So 63.02, you can see the area of support here happening several times, and if it loses that, obviously all-time low sitting at 58.69. So we got some good clean levels towards the bottom. Towards the top, you do have an area right over here around 70, and then you have you kind of got this range going on here. Then you really have your 74 range, which is the low of 2 days ago. It's probably the cleanest level towards the top here. So that is ESTC. Again, I do like this drop here, down quite a bit. Hopefully we can get some good movements out of that one this morning. So Sage, guys, Sage is down 62%. So this is a monster drop today on Sage. It's worth watching. Again, don't have a short bias, guys. Be very cautious on what this one can do today. Low of the pre-market is 52.60. Our high is sitting slightly at 57.74, and then we have this huge gap all the way up to 150 where we dropped from. Let's go back and find some good levels for this. So here we have around 90. If this thing starts to close this gap, 80.42 is a great level there. 80.42, you can see the beautiful support and the bounce back, and then in between here I want to guess something, because if we do start to go up or down, we got to have some levels. We're not going to go all the way up from 60 all the way to 150. That's not going to happen today. If it does, I will only believe it if Brian says it, because when Brian says something's going to go, it goes. So 69, guys, a level here as well. 69, you do have, it was resistance at one point, support again, resistance again, and then here you can see a nice drop, right? I know it's a little small to see on your screen, but you guys can look it up on your charts. You can see this nice drop here, stops right at that 69, and then once it tests it one more time, and then eventually breaks out of the 69 all the way up to this 80. So that 69 is going to be a good one to have on your list. Other than that, I don't see anything significant going back towards December, February here of 2017. Towards the bottom, below this 52, we do have one area of support. I know this is very small, guys. 46. You can see on here, if you could look at back into that January 2017, December 2016, you can see the support there happening around that 46.01 area. So plenty of levels for Sage. Again, I think this is going to be interesting today. It's got great volume, 1.5, down quite a bit on some negative news. So we'll see how this one develops this morning. Here is AMD. So I think AMD's got some potential, guys. I'm going to take it off because we just got so much going on this morning. That looks great. I would look for AMD to hit our scanners or something like that. Now, Roku, on the other hand, I know Roku has a better chance to run more than AMD does. AMD could be choppy for that first hour. Then after that first hour settles down, you could take a move on it. But Roku can actually get going here. So I do like the fact that we're bouncing out for some of these levels, the moving averages after this drop here. So hopefully we can get a continuation today. High of our pre-market, 153.37. The most recent bottom of the gap is 159.27. So hopefully you can get into that area. You can see that 159.27 also being an area of some kind of resistance here. And then above that, obviously 168. And you know Roku can definitely do that move. We've seen it done in the past if it can get some good movements out of it. And then towards the bottom, you have your previous day close and highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. RH is the low flow of the day, guys. So be very, very careful with this one. High of the pre-market at 211.99. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great. We were just shy under 100K here, only 87. Towards the bottom, you got plenty of levels. I wouldn't add anything towards the bottom. Previous day close, highs and lows sitting all on here. You also got a moving average coming in. If I move back a bit here, I think we're all-time high on RH. Yes, we are. Yep, all-time high on RH. So that's interesting. They got some positive news this morning. So we can see a nice little squeeze here to above 211 will be nice. Now RH, guys, again, it is a low flow. It's only 16 million shares flow. Do not be confused by the price action. So be very cautious with this one. So Etsy, I think I'm going to remove Etsy right now just because of pre-market. We just have so many here, guys. So I'm just going to remove that one for the moment. All right, so just to recap, AUPH, we have this one, looks great, very active. Looks like it might want to lose this pre-market low. We'll have to see how that develops. This one is up quite a bit, so you want to be cautious and to short a strong stock. But this one is up 100% with 2.3 million shares traded, so that's nice. ACAD, on the other hand, looks like it just wants to break out of the pre-market highs, holding here up 20%, 512. I definitely like the way this is trading today in the pre-market. PCG selling down a little bit, might not be that interesting if it starts to sell down, so we'll have to see how that develops. Work, I'm going to remove work, guys, and the reason is because it's getting into this congested area of support. I think we have some other ones that are clearly have left their trading range. It's going to be more exciting. Just for the sake of being able to watch all the stocks that I have on my list, I'm going to remove work out of that one. So OMER, this one is also I'm on the fence on. I might also remove this one. ESTC, I like. If we can get a drop here, this will be nice. Sage, I like as well. Great volume. And then Roku, as we talked about, could be nice if we can get going above this pre-market highs and getting into that 159.27 area. And then we just spoke about our RH, our low flow of the day. All right, guys, that is all we have. Norm, Brian, anything else you guys like on your end?
No, I think you've covered it. Nike's up a bit. I think that was an earnings report.
I'm gonna have my eye on KR. It's flat right now, but it's got decent volume, and we know that it can trade well if it gets going. So it'll be on a secondary list. I've also got Facebook. It's got pretty decent pre-market volume. It got an upgrade this morning that I mentioned earlier. It's only up 0.5%, but it's right up against 200. So I'm gonna see what it does there.
Yeah, Facebook is interesting on the daily as well. How about the other guys, NVIDIA? We haven't talked about your top four in a while. Norm, NVIDIA.
I haven't really been around to talk about them.
That's true. So NVIDIA's not looking all that great.
No, NVIDIA doesn't look great. Apple's just kind of hanging out here. Could be it. Apple made a nice run middle of the day yesterday, but I was in that EXPE trade instead.
All right, see what else we got going on. Yeah, I'm sure Thor will be putting his watch list together soon as well. And by the way, speaking of Thor, we had a great lifetime webinar yesterday. Workshop, our success workshop series was very nice, very informative. I mean, we had a really good time. So thank you guys for joining that. And there'll be another one next week. Next week will be Peter doing his workshop. So looking forward to that as well. All right, what else we have, guys? So NKE, yep, NKE having a actually, yeah, NKE, if it can get going here, could be nice. So I'll have this on a secondary list down here with KR and Facebook as well.
Yeah, it's up on as we mentioned earlier, it's up on it got upgraded by Goldman Sachs earlier.
Gary, yes, we will be putting that workshop together as well. Eamon has been working on that. Actually seen the presentation already. Just need some final touches. I know Brian is also putting some information together on that with Eamon's presentation. So that'll be done pretty soon. But we have a lineup already set up for the next couple of days. So that'll probably be in January or February. So we'll see. We'll try to get in as soon as possible. All right, guys. 7 minutes to the market open on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Apologies for the technical issues with the microphone. We'll check out what's going on there. But it looks like you guys were able to hear me okay, so that's good. Hopefully there was no choppiness over on YouTube. Take care, guys. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow, Friday, 8:30 Eastern Time, as we close out this week. So trade safe, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. I will be out tomorrow, but I should be back to my fully regular schedule with you, Carlos, on Monday.